Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link. And be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
This is the network service of the NTA.
I hope you have the requirement, especially your university certificate. Even your primary school uniform.
He really does not need that to contest.
Just his school start to do.
All we should look out for right now is the man with integrity and capabilities. And with all I've seen so far, I think he has it.
Not true.
Yes, so Otuba is truly a man of the people. Anyway, Sha, as we are your #1 constituency, Otuba, the boy is good. Come on now, once we begin this matter now, you will order from me a large number of wax, Hollandis, Ankara, and I will use for campaign and rally. Come on now, I will give you discount, better discount.
You know, take it easy. Allow the food to get it done.
Delay is dangerous.
But anyways, I don't have blood based on my personality. All I need to do is to travel to my village. As importer, exporter, all merchandise. I begin to import vote. Import vote. Import vote. It will not cost too much. It's more money. Go
Chill. That one is called vote buying.
Besides, only those without charisma buy votes. If you do your work well, you'll get the massive lineup for you.
No shaking. Yes. But here, people. Now you say this person style restaurant. Look at that one go 7-star restaurant.
Straight.
7-star restaurant. Then all the meetings where all those politicians they do, neither this my 7-star restaurant. It will be. Yes, sir. Now you say I want shoot small. What do you know what to do? Yes, sir. Now you say I want sit cross leg as woman leader.
But that one will be very better.
Let me tell you, I want her to deserve. No, I prefer Modina's baby. That's it.
I like money, but you should not come and become money.
I'm telling you. But it's good, I could tell.
What happened? What's up with that?
No problem.
Chief, 2 plates of food. What I want to do is
Yes.
Two days. 2 plates of food, 2 days. You see?
Yes, take it.
Alright, so no problem. Yes.
Kilo Shele, what happened?
No. We wanted
We are
to.
composing song for Tumba.
Yes.
It is me that you bring it, so it does not.
It's true.
You want?
Sing the song, let them know.
You know that song is not a small song. I can just start singing anyhow.
It's okay, it's just a.
You want to hear it?
Yes, now.
You want to hear it? No problem. I will take my time. Hey. Chidi. Otumba.
Wait,
Oh.
you use bass and we use soprano. You understand? We can go.
Otumba. Kayesu.
This used to be me. But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Election dey very important.
But it go come.
And it go.
Nigeria go take it back. Make we no fight for election.
Because now all of us go so para.
Election na do. No be die matter.
Vote, not fight.
Election no be war.
One thing I hope we all have is our PVC. Because we all need to have those PVCs in order to be able to be qualified to vote. Without the PVC, you can't even vote for me. That's the truth. And I hope you all have your PVCs.
Yes, so trust me now. Segilola no rival. Always, any day, anytime. I have my PVC. And you can be sure that you have my vote.
Hey, wallahi, even me ma Atumba, wallahi, I get my few basic. And Kuma is you that I will vote for. Eh? You can point on me. Udo?
Yes.
The way you get your few basic.
PVC.
Actually,
you see that PVC something is a serious matter. I'm telling you. See, you got one day like this. I go find a job. Okay, man work. So as I reach there and I end them begin they blow plenty grammar for the interview. They ask me plenty questions. I say, waiting with this. They come say, do you have your driver's license or somebody? Me driver's license. Do I have a car? How can I have a driver's license and look at? It's okay, it's alright, no problem. They come ask me, say, okay, international passport. My passport. Me hold up. International passport. I never even see him play at all with my naked kuro eyes. Not even talk of anything they play. Now inside Kishi, now they should be able to fly like this. Don't disappear for air. I tell them, I don't get international passport. They say, okay, do you have PVC? I say, no, PVC. I tell them, say, I don't get. I don't get.
Why am I not surprised?
What did you can't get? Ordinary PVC that everybody have. If you don't get the PVC, how will you come to close when you in Nigeria? You'll be alien. Alien. Chidi, which one be that one? Which one be alien? You can't really you know what you're talking about.
Alien is just somebody living in another person's country, another one's country. That is not his own country.
Who not? You be foreigner.
Me foreigner. Me Udo Abang. In second, the genuine legal son of Abang Nsekam Oduabang Nsekam. All the way from Ukanaba Ikot in Ikotekene, Ukaniba in Ikotekene, and I am the heartland of what is the name of this place now? I forgot. I don't go out. All the way from Akwa Ibom State. I'm a very, very full, mature Nigerian citizen.
Let me explain to you. You see, what Iyamodina asked is a very vital question. Sure. Believe you me, every citizen needs a form of identification.
True.
You understand? In developed countries, it's not optional. It's a must. It's mandatory that you have a form of identification.
Yes.
You understand? Because you find out that that's the only way we can know who are foreigners and who are citizens.
Yes.
That law should be upheld in Nigeria if we really want to fight corruption to a halt. And also, if you get to the age of a voting age of 18, as the civic responsibility, you need to go and register for your PVC,
yes,
so that you can be able to vote.
Yes.
That's the truth. And I hope you all have your PVCs.
I will go and register for you. Wait. What did she say? Bala was distracting me. See, register. You have not registered. See the person that wants to be woman leader.
Iyamodina actually, for this election, it's late because the window for registration is closed. The registration is closed. But you have to wait for the next election time. Then you go at the stipulated time so that you can.
No. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Ask all of them whether they have collected their PVC.
No, but I'm not consulting Iyamodina. That means that you have shot one of my votes. Oh. No. You have to look for a way to replace that vote for me.
I tell you. No problem. Gigi, exporter, importer. As I know the vote, know the way we go do. Go carry your vote. Go vote for Otumba on my behalf. Which vote? Your own. You vote Otumba, but on my behalf.
Why you don't scratch your head? So you said you're outside like Iyamodina too. Anyway,
don't lie. See, if you like that, you win change the sound, don't get a few good things. Guys, see the malay, don't just give us up.
But then I don't get it.
I don't get it. Don't worry yourself. You know me. I will import everything importable. In fact, don't worry yourself. I'm in charge. Okay. Don't problem.
Chidi, I hope you're not suggesting vote buying because it's now a criminal offense if you do so.
Vote buying, yes, criminal offense. Yes. What about campaign buying? Which one is even go to buy another? Because I don't understand.
Change. You not done this Nako something. You can do somewhere, I'm telling you. You see?
Very true. That question is not for me. Why is everybody looking at me?
Well, truth is this. Even if you do not know this, I believe you know people who have activities. Mobilize for you. Do that for you. And I promise you, when we get there, we'll make rules and that will push us forward. We need to have a transformed and a positive-looking Nigeria for all of us. And I, Otumba, will give you good representation.
Let me tell you something. As an original Nigerian that I am, me, Udon, in second. Son of Abang Udon, in second. Eastern of Ukanaba, Ikote, in Akwa Ibom State. A full-grown Nigerian man like me, I'm going to mobilize all my friends to vote for it. No problem at all. That is my promise.
Udo, let me tell you something. As a citizen, you need a form of identification. You're just saying now you don't have international.
I said I'm mobilizing.
You don't have international license. You don't have driver's license. You don't even have PVC. You don't get. How are we sure that you're in Nigeria?
He does not even have money to pay for it.
Who am I? I'm a caregiver, a slayer, a boss lady, a foodie. I am the chief quality inspector and chief organizer. And when I'm cooking with my Maggie Star, I become a kitchen grand master.
Every day, you choose to make the difference. That's why you choose Maggie Star, made from natural soya beans and other carefully selected ingredients to help you cook the difference.
I am the chief enjoyment officer, and I'm the magnet that brings my family together. Need I say more? But best of all, I love what I do.
With Maggie, cook the difference.
Election dey very important.
But it go come.
And it go.
Nigeria go take it back. Make we no fight for election.
Because now all of us go so para.
Election na do. No be die matter.
Vote, not fight.
Election no be war.
My culture preaches peace. My culture preaches peace. My culture preaches peace. 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 My culture preaches peace.
Even our religion
preaches peace.
If our culture preaches peace, remember your culture. Use your voter's card. Vote peacefully
and wisely. We are one.
This message is from the National Council for Arts and Culture.
Otumba, my bestie.
Wait, you can't do all like that. We have to
Otumba.
Thank you.
Otumba.
Thank you.
Otumba.
Excuse me, ma. Let us give you correct into the harmonious part of the song.
Okay.
Stand up. Give us space. You give bass. I give soprano. This is usual. Yes, sir. Otumba.
Drive in the rain?
It depends on the velocity of the rain.
Hello Nigeria, welcome to Newsline this beautiful Sunday night. I am Becky Mbadujemo. We've got an explosive package for you. Tonight we are going to open differently by keeping you in suspense about the stories you will be watching later. Be assured that they will be worth the wait. We've got love and romance, new discoveries for your enlightenment, as well as locations you probably haven't seen or heard about. There's also colorful fashion, parties, happy people, and sadly, there's also sinister crime. We must take the news first as always. I will be back after Claire Adelabu Abdurazak presents the news. Happy Sunday, Claire.
Becky, it's always a pleasure to see you. And by the way, you're looking gorgeous as always. So let's begin the news with the latest on the uncollected PVCs. And more than 3 million permanent voters' cards remain uncollected. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu made this known in Abuja. Here is Mia Ugidi with the rest of the story.
27th of April 2017 was the date the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, started the continuous voter registration exercise and ended in August 2018. That is about 16 months. And within this period, 14.28 million eligible voters were registered, though many came late. After the registration, the next phase of the exercise started, that is the collection of permanent voters' cards, and it was suspended on the 11th of February 2019.
That of the 14.28 million permanent voter cards made available for collection, about 10.87 million, or 76.12%, have already been collected.
So, about 3,041,000 permanent voters' cards remain uncollected.
We are going to call in all the uncollected PVCs and warehouse them in the central bank for safekeeping until after the elections. After the elections, then we'll make the cards once again available for collection and also resume the registration of voters, for which the Commission will issue a timetable after the election.
However, the INEC is currently embarking on what it called mop-up exercise of all uncollected permanent voters' cards before the 2015 general elections. Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
And more reactions to the postponement of the elections. The Director, Election Planning and Monitoring of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Babatunde Fashola, has urged Nigerians to remain committed to the task of building a democratic nation and not to allow the rescheduling of the Presidential and National Assembly elections deter their efforts. While addressing a press conference in Abuja, he appealed to Nigerians to see themselves as important stakeholders and want the electoral umpire INEC to be more transparent in their activities towards the rescheduled Presidential and National Assembly polls.
As a result of the common pain that we share, we, the Directorate of Election Planning and Monitoring, and the Directorate for Contact and Mobilization, on behalf of the APC Campaign Council, demand greater openness and transparency in INEC's preparations ahead of the Saturday, 23rd of February 2019 elections. We want to know, for example, what steps have been taken by INEC with CBN, the central bank, to assess and to take inventory of materials and to brief the public about what their condition is. We think that this will be helpful to dispel rumors, to calm nerves, that really the process is intact and that INEC is in control.
Babatunde Fashola there reacting to the election postponement. Meanwhile, postponement of the 2019 Presidential and National Assembly elections makes it the third consecutive time INEC will shift general elections in order to conduct fair and credible elections. Chimubi Water in Niger takes us down memory lane to 1999 when election cancellations started.
Since the advent of the Fourth Republic in Nigeria about 20 years ago, 5 general elections have been conducted, with improvements being noticed and acknowledged. Presidential and governorship elections were held in Nigeria in February 1999. These elections ushered in the first democratically elected president since the 1983 military coup. In compliance with Nigeria's constitution, elections were held in April 12th for the State and National Assembly, while the presidential and governorship election were held a week later. 4 years later, in 2007, hitch-free elections were conducted, signifying a first civilian-to-civilian transition. The 2011 elections were the first to be rescheduled when the then chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, postponed the elections by 2 days after challenges encountered midway into the process in some parts of the country. Late deployment of electoral materials in many parts of the country, among others, was the reason for the cancellation. In 2015, INEC again moved the elections due to security concerns following the declaration that security cannot be guaranteed. The postponement of the 2019 general elections few hours to the time, the umpire says, was a hard but necessary decision in the best interests of the nation.
Of the implementation of its logistics and operational plan and the determination to conduct free, fair and credible elections, the Commission came to the conclusion that proceeding with the election as scheduled is no longer feasible.
As expected, reactions have continued to trail the decision, but Nigerians have agreed that having a free, fair and credible election supersedes the issues as the country strives to perfect their democracy. In Abuja, Chimubi Walter Naji, NTA News.
And from Canada comes a report that Nigerians in that country who are monitoring the political climate are calling on the electorate to keep calm and wait patiently to perform their civic duties on the new dates announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Correspondent Joe Osiago sampled the views of key Nigerian Canadian officials at an event at the Canadian Parliament Hill in Ottawa.
Hopefully within this 1 week, INEC should be able to get it right, and hopefully we'll see a very peaceful and smooth elections. And I encourage everyone to come out there, exercise their civic responsibility.
We need to nurture our democracy. We need to do it right. It's important to show to the outside community, if we notice something is wrong, it needs to be corrected right away.
advise everyone to keep their eyes on the prize, keep focused, because this is something that wasn't anticipated. No one did the risk analysis for this, that way it was going to happen. We could have thought of different scenarios, but it happened as it is. But everyone should group back together, and be optimistic and objective.
They should not take it too bad. They should basically still come out and still exercise their right.
Before you know it, it's on Saturday. There's a reason for everything. So we need to calm down and relax, then wait for Saturday, go out and vote.
And the United States Embassy says it fully supports the joint statement by the heads of the ECOWAS and other international election observation missions on the postponement of the February elections. This is contained in a release by the Public Affairs section of the Embassy Press Office this Sunday. The Embassy further says it is encouraging all Nigerians to ensure a free, fair, peaceful and credible elections by voting in peace on the 23rd and supporting the Independent National Electoral Commission as it finalizes preparations this week. And the National Assembly has postponed its resumption of plenary to Tuesday, the 26th of February 2019. A statement by the National Assembly clerk, Sani Omoluri, explains that the postponement from the earlier date of 19 February to 26 is prompted by the postponement of the general elections. The clerk urges all senators and House of Representatives members to resume plenary on the stated date. And to Kaduna State now, victims of the communal clash in Kajuru local government area, which led to the death of about 66 persons, have yet to stabilize. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachiko reports that Governor Nasir Rufai visited the communities for a first-hand assessment.
Governor Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai, accompanied by heads of security agencies in the state, visited the affected communities of Iri, Marugida, and Ongwon Burde, among others. The community leaders said they were attacked by unknown gunmen who killed about 66 persons, including women and children. More than 100 members of the communities, they said, are still missing. The governor described the incident as unfortunate.
Every human life is equal, and we do not create lives, and we sanctify every human life, and we respect it.
The residents were lured to that riverine and was slaughtered. A total of 37 was said to have been buried there. You have seen the graveyard. As far as we are concerned, what we reported was 66, comprising male, female, and children.
The police went on the other way and effected some arrest. They are right now undergoing interrogation in the state CID.
The governor appealed to the people to remain calm, assuring them that conflict merchants will be brought to justice. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachku, NTA News.
And the Nigeria Customs Service says a disturbing video going viral with conflicting narratives is misleading. A statement by Public Relations Officer Deputy Controller Joseph Atta says attempts to obstruct lawful performance of duty by passengers of a commercial bus suspected to be carrying bales of used clothing led to the death of a young man, Godwin, and seriously injuring a custom officer at the Shagamu interchange along Ijebuode. Contrary to some narratives, the young man was not a passenger of the bus, but a good citizen who always come to fetch water for customs patrolmen anytime they returned to base. Preliminary findings indicate that it was during the skirmishes and struggle to disarm the officer that the rifle discharged and hit the friend of the customs, Godwin, who lost his life. The service is already in touch with the bereaved family. While the wounded officer is under intensive care at the hospital, the patrol team has been recalled to the office for further investigation. And the Executive Secretary and Head of Mission Lake Chad Basin Commission, Ambassador Mama Nuhu, says the Commission has developed strategies to fast-track the eradication of the Boko Haram terrorist group from border town of member nations. The Executive Secretary said this while receiving journalists on media tour to the headquarters of the Commission and High Multinational Joint Task Force in N'Djamena, Chad. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was there.
The Multinational Joint Task Force MNJTF, with an expanded mandate and current headquarters in N'Djamena, Chad, comprises mostly military formations from the Lake Chad Basin Commission member nations.
We are looking forward for better cooperation, better understanding, and better equipping of all the armed forces that belong to this combination of what we call multinational joint task.
These nations that include Cameroon, Chad, Nigeria, Niger, and Benin are united in the fight against their common enemy, the Boko Haram terrorist group that has killed and displaced thousands of people in the past 10 years. The chunk of these terror attacks is in the northeastern parts of Nigeria. This necessitated President Muhammadu Buhari to remobilize the Lake Chad Basin Commission member nations, inject funds to reinvigorate the comatose fighting formation of the Multinational Joint Task Force. This media tour is aimed at assessing the success recorded and strategies put in place to eradicate remnant of the Boko Haram hibernating in some border towns of member nations. Addressing journalists, the head of mission, Ambassador Mama Nuhu, said the commission has introduced a regional stabilization program to harmonize the ongoing drive to resettle internally displaced persons through a 9-pillar program.
And these pillars addressed all aspects of humanitarian and a bit of development issues that normally arise in a situation like this. Governance is the first one.
To ensure rapid response and effective coordination of operations, the Force Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Chikeze Ude, said the formation operates through 4 sectors and have conducted several successful operations.
As at 2015, we recorded about 2,000 civilian casualties. This figure dropped to 573 as at 2018.
He noted that the force has raided several cell locations of the terrorists along member nations' border towns. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And the 4-year leadership crisis rocking the host communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas scam has been resolved by the Oba of Benin, Iware II. The Oba advised members during the inauguration of the Steering Committee to show violence and embrace peace. Steve Lanai Nwokolo reports.
The inauguration of the Steering Committee of the host communities of Nigerian producing oil and gas, HOSCOM, was sequel to the peace earlier brokered by the Oba between the 2 warring factions of the group over its leadership. The Omonoba, who eventually accepted the life grand patron of HOSCOM, urged members of the body to see themselves as one and asked them to bury their differences in the interest of the Niger Delta region.
I want to reassure you that I will continue to discharge my duties.
That this peace we have struck to last and endure. Otherwise, we have made a mockery of tradition and the pride I particularly have and the faith that the traditional institution can solve a lot of the problems of Nigeria.
For this what they have done, we have to say thank you to Mr. President for what they have done.
The newly constituted committee resolved, among other issues, payment of 13% derivation to the oil-bearing communities, end to gas flaring, making High Chief Benjamin Tamarenebi as the national chairman of HOSCOM, and Chief Mike Emu as leader. In Benin, Steve Lonai Nwokolo, NTA News.
And reports just in now says the National Union of Road Transport Workers has undertaken to subsidize costs of transportation in favor of voters wishing to go back to their respective voting units to cast their votes. The union says it will soon make a definite statement regarding the nature of the subsidy as soon as consultations are concluded with members of National Executive Council. The decision by the union is in cognizance of the fact that a good number of voters may not return to vote in view of the cost implication. And a bit of health now. A diagnostic center with the prospects of meeting the needs of people in the north-central geopolitical zone will soon become operational, and that's in Lafia. Joshua Ojito reports that the infrastructure expected to ensure smooth takeoff of the facility has been provided by the Nasarawa State Government to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and CDC.
Findings show the Nigeria Center for Disease Control was established in 2011 in response to the challenges of public health emergencies and to enhance Nigeria's preparedness and response to epidemics. The drive is through prevention, detection and control of communicable and non-communicable diseases. With partnership by Nasarawa State Government, the organization opened discussions realizing the effort of the state government in building the diagnostic center, while the Nigeria Center for Disease Control says it is committed to ensuring that the center commences operation as soon as construction is completed. There are calls for the involvement of development partners in funding research and diagnosis in the center.
And I'll continue to mobilize all the other partners that we have access to at the federal level to come and put what they have in the collective pot. What you have here is something that has to serve the country beyond Nasarawa.
We'll stop at nothing in ensuring that we get whoever is willing to partner with us so that this center will not only be a center for research but a center of excellence in terms of research and diagnosis.
In addition to the construction of the diagnostic center, National State Government says it will equip the center before handing it over to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And we turn attention to Ogun State, where the state government has continued to intensify implementation of its urban renewal development by embarking on additional road construction. In this regard, Governor Ibikunle Amosu inspected some of the roads under construction. And Deko Agbonde tells us more.
The postponement of the election notwithstanding, the Governor Ibikunle Amosu, his deputy Yetunde Onanuga and some members of the cabinet went on inspection of roads under construction in Shagamu, Ijebu-Ode and Ijebu-Igbo. The inspection team was at Degun, Italako, Obalende, Balogun Kuku, Okeaje and Igbeba roads in Ijebu-Ode, all at various levels of completion. Governor Musun noted that aside the 4 flyovers, roads such as Ejirin, Oluwalogbon, Ikongba, Ilese roads in Ijebu-Ode and Obairinwole Road in Shagamu were constructed by his government. While reacting to the postponement of the election, the governor appealed to Nigerians to be patient.
Yes, we feel bad, but since they said that this will allow them to give Nigerians a very credible election as a people, as a nation, I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt and start exercise some patience.
In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
And as the saying goes, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Now that resonates with the aspirations of the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association to complement federal government's efforts to reduce unemployment in the country. National President of the association, Hafsat Abubakar, reaffirmed this at the graduation of 260 women and youths here in Abuja.
As the gallant Air Force personnel dominate the skies day and night protecting the nation's territorial integrity, NAFOA is taking up the responsibility of catering for the home front. With over 2,000 beneficiaries since the inception of the program in 2016, the association says it is leaving no stone unturned in its aggressive empowerment campaign.
Skill acquisition and vocational training are means to financial independence, self-reliance, prosperity, and personal development.
We must remember that it is when we unlock people's potentials that they can truly do better. I'm looking forward to the unlocking of these potentials of our participants from all here present.
On the part of beneficiaries, what impact will the empowerment have?
Actually, NAFOA actually helped us in this empowerment. As an event decorator, I learned so much. Now I can plan an event and also decorate all.
First of all, not all parents can handle financial problems. So having the knowledge alone can help me be independent in high school.
Certificates and starter packs were presented to beneficiaries, launching them into being self-employed. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
And a bit of sports now. Mali are champions of CAF Under-20 tournament. Amasi Marcus has details of this and more.
Badgie tackle there, but Lupi steps across. Well, he played